Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG radio show. And today's guest, listen, you're not even going to want to need to go back to college for this, all right? Because I got the one, the only Professor Kev on the RNG radio show, and he's here to talk to you about Ivy League. Now, I know what you're already thinking right now, Princeton, Cornell, and all them. Nah, this Ivy League is a higher level and elevated mindset to get you where you need to go in life. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my man, the one, the only Professor Kev. Professor, how you doing today, man?
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to all the listeners and the people tuning in. Thank you very much, Daniel, for sharing your platform and allowing me to get my message out. I'm doing great, though.
Awesome, man. Hey, listen, we got to build each other up one day at a time. So, with that being said, tell us all about what you do when it comes to the Ivy League.
So I'm my vocation is teaching. I'm a professor. I've taught at 4 different colleges, all of them accredited. I have gotten to a point in my life where I realized that the stuff that I do, my teaching style, which in an academic term would be pedagogy, I got an award for that earlier this year. The way I do things really created an impact to a lot of my students, whether they were traditional college age or older, seasoned adults. And I would get a lot of great feedback from them. And I said, okay, I need to take this to the next level. Being in the classroom is great, but my impact has surpassed just what we were talking about in the classroom. Those who don't know, I taught communications. Well, I still do. I still teach communications. But I would give a lot of real life stuff so we can have conversations that were engaging and worthwhile. And the students really gravitated to that. So I created the Ivy League just this calendar year. The Ivy League, we're still working on the website, so that's not up yet. But if you want to check me out for updates and things, you can go, actually you can follow me on my personal page, which is Ayo Deuce on Instagram. That's EHYODEUCE. You can also follow me on Instagram at Easy Teachy. And that's what we're here to talk about. So Easy Teachy, EASYTEAHCY.
Okay, awesome.
CHY. That's it.
I got you. Hey, listen, I was about to pick it up. If not, man, listen, you Jordan, I'm Pippen. I had you. Now, Easy Teachy, tell us a little bit more about that, just due to the fact that it is brand new, and more importantly, congrats on, beginning something, especially during these times, and continuing forward with it. So definitely break down to us what Easy Teachy is about.
Yeah, man. So Easy Teachy is like I said, transitioning that. Well, I ain't gonna say transition, but taking the information that I was using in the classroom, being able to provide that impact to the students, not just with the the coursework and the relevancy of that, but also with giving them life lessons and guidance that will help them not only in my class, and not just even in college, but as they transition into adulthood. I've even helped people, 30 years my senior in life issues and circumstances, because I gave them a perspective, a frame of mind to operate in. And I think that when people have a, productive frame of mind to operate in, then nothing becomes as challenging as they thought it was. They're able to get their best self, become their best selves. This Easy Teachy, the first course I'm designing is for students who are in college or going to college. What they need to know to really be adjusted. I'm speaking from the perspective of being in the classroom. There's a whole lot of programs out there that college prep. I looked them up. I looked them up. They have a couple. I'm in the DC area. They got a couple programs, KIT and all that. That shit is, it's trash, man, because they're being taught this information by people who aren't in a college environment. These aren't people who are faculty members. They don't work in colleges, and yet they're supposed to be teaching somebody how to adjust to a college life. It doesn't work. What needs to happen is you get people like me, professors who are in the classroom, and they know exactly what the students need to be successful, not just in one class, but overall. Some of the things that I talk about is the ability to research, the ability to write coherently, the ability to work together in cooperative environments. Normally, you know, a lot of people don't like group projects. And then the last thing that I talk about is being able to present your information. And this is why I created the Ivy League, because Ivy kind of stands for introvert. I'm an introvert. I tell my students, it may not seem like it, but I don't always like to be in front of everybody and have my face and everything. But I also tell them I teach communications. I get up, I stand in front of the class, and I run my mouth. The reason I'm good at it is because I've learned ways to work within my own self and then still impact the audience that I'm working with. So when we talk about being able to do public speaking, which is one of the biggest fears most people have, I break it down into very, very manageable steps and goals of attainment that makes it easy for anybody. I'm an introvert, to get up and present their information. So that's the type of stuff that I go on and talk about for easy teaching for the students.
Okay. Now, because I want folks to understand, I'm definitely getting the concept, and even more so for myself to understand. So let's take a university like Howard University. So with Howard University, instead of, you just having your basic book on college prep as far as what you should be doing the first day, the first week, or first month, you're actually taking the perspective from the professors themselves to enable and help those students be prepared for that first week in school. So they know what that they're specifically expecting from those teachers.
I that you hit on it, but I even go deeper, because the whole idea is, it's like going, let's say you want to work out. You want to drop 50 pounds by the end of this calendar year or whatever. You're not going to do that in 1 week. You're not going to do that in 2 weeks. It's going to be you have to have a certain amount of time of consistent action and consistent discipline. And so the guiding philosophies that I provide in this is not just about being prepared for the first week, but being prepared for the entire semester. I ain't gonna say all, but most of the students start off absolutely ready to, bust it out the door when the first couple weeks hit. It's exciting. It's new. You ready to show off. Yeah, after midterm, people ain't going to class.
Remember the days. You turned to a whole different person. What's going on? Thought I was going to be fine. Why they stay at B? So I understand. I definitely understand.
Hey, look, people don't go to class. You got, for some reason, they always got homecoming in the fall semester. So that's early in the semester, right before midterms. Students start to get in the partying and the nightlife and stuff like that, and them grades just start to do. So what I do is I give them the framework, the mental framework to say, to say how they can continue to be successful and productive. But you got to take it one step at a time, because college will come at you hard. It'll come at you fast. It ain't, dude. Even though I am a college professor, I don't agree with taking more than 12 credit hours a semester. I think taking 5 and 6 classes a semester is absolutely ridiculous. Most of these students, especially traditional college age, I taught at a couple different colleges. Primary college I worked at, Bowie State here, it's a historically black college here in Maryland. 70%, even in 2018, 70% of the incoming freshmen were first-generation college students, and I think about 55% of them were working at least a part-time job. You stack that on top of 5 or 6 classes, you're dooming these kids to failure. And so I don't like that. I think it's better to give people what they need beforehand instead of trying to be reactive. Because those students, and I see it when they start getting the bad grades, midterms come, they say, man, I can't do this, Professor. I got to get out to school. And the reality is, it's not that they can't do it. They weren't set up to be able to do it. And I don't fault the K through 12 system. It's not the K through 12 system's fault. But and it's kind of digressing. Before I got into the classroom, I worked under the vice president for assessments at Bowie State, and I worked with her for 2 years. I was able to see the actual data of where our students were testing in when they came in.
Oh,
So
nice.
you can see what areas they really needed the most help in. The problem is the system, Maryland State education system didn't lend itself to really pinpointing those needs for the students. College is it's a different beast, man. You don't get your hands held. And even at black colleges, there is a little more of we want to make sure our students is taken care of, but still, it ain't the same thing as high school. You don't have a counselor that's calling you every 3 days. Hey, did you do this work? Did you turn that in? Let me talk to Dr. So-and-so. It don't operate like that. And a lot of students, they've been coming from systems where they think that that's how it's going to work in college, that I could just complain or bring mommy up here and something going to change. No, it's a different beast. So instead of being reactive, I'm trying to be proactive, create programs that are designed to make sure students not only achieve, but they overachieve. They become competent citizens, competent individuals, competent citizens, and outstanding adults. Because reality is, the people who come out of college, the people we're going to be living with.
Right.
And we want these people to be knowledgeable, to be educated, to make conscious decisions, to make educated decisions, not just be gullible fools out here. And so that is one of the things I do. And a big part of that guiding philosophy thing is being able to use critical thought.
Okay. All right, awesome. Now, with Easy Teach, I mean, I know that you had mentioned that it's brand new, along with the IV. Where do you foresee, as far as the brand or even the teachings and courses going, let's say even by this time next year?
By this time next year, I want to have at least 3 different courses going on. Now, these courses, obviously, I'm creating them to be online. Nobody knows if we'll ever get back in the classrooms or how that's going to play out. So I want to make sure that people have access to it wherever they are, and what city, state, whatever the case. I want to have 3 different courses as a main staple, and obviously as I get feedback, then I can, if I need to make another course or whatever the case. But the idea is to have a course specifically dedicated to students, incoming and then current college students, whatever age range, that doesn't matter. My second course is going to be for faculty members, helping the faculty members make the connections with the students. And I'm just going to say this for one quick second, but a lot of times we got, people in academia, we got all these degrees. We way up here with the knowledge, right, over everybody's head, and we can't communicate that to the students. And so there's a big disconnect in the classroom. You look at the student, why are you not trying? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And the student's like, dude, I don't know what you're even talking about. And a lot of times, because, academia, we earn those stripes, we earn them degrees, get a little ego in there. It's a little personal ego. Well, it's my classroom. You're going to have to do what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, but that doesn't, if you're not trying to impact the next generation, I honestly believe you don't need to be in the classroom.
Absolutely.
And so my whole thing is, I need to be able to break down the information so that they receive it, not just sit up here and talk down on people. Like I told my students, I want to be the professor that I wish I had. I'm smart, I'm educated, that's great. We all got that. I can use all the big words, but if I can't convey that to somebody on a very rudimentary level, then what good am I doing? I'm not helping nobody. And like I said, the course for the professors is going to be making sure that they could create that connection and then make it relevant to the student. A lot of times we stay in our own place, but the reality is, to reach people, you got to get to where they are, not to where you're coming from. It ain't their job to get to you. It's your job to get to them. That's why you're in the classroom. And so if you're not making it relevant to the receiver of the information, you wasting your breath, you're wasting your time. So being relevant to the student is the big thing there. So that's what that whole course is going to be about, relevancy to the student. And then on the back half, making it easier for yourself as a faculty member. I have helped, as a matter of fact, I had a professor, he taught math. I'm not going to give his name out, but he taught math, or he teaches math at Howard University. And I met him, and I did some one-to-one coaching with him about setting up his syllabus, doing the grading, and then make sure the idea there was no professors want feedback at the end of the year. You know, oh, I need to do this extra credit. Can you give me the extra credit and all of that? We don't want that. How did I get this grade? And this is nobody got time for that. So I helped him set up his syllabus to avoid a lot of that. And he was like, man, you know, he called me Kevin. He was like, man, I did what you was telling me. He said I had maybe 3 students out of 150 that I teach come back to me at the end of the semester asking about their grade. Before that, he'd be getting like 50 students a semester. Oh, it works. The proof is in the pudding, man, because I don't got time for it. I used to tell my students, I'm like, look, if the way I set my class up, if you got a problem with your grade at the end of the semester, it's because you didn't talk to me any time before. And if you didn't care, I don't care. I'm going to pull my Hennessy, I'm going to put that F in the book, and I'm going to keep...
Salute. Salute.
If you didn't care, I try to be very fair.
No, that's being real. That's being more than fair. You being real,
you know, so it's like, look, if I'm giving you 16 weeks of effort, I mean, grade A, top shelf effort, I care. If I'm giving you 16 weeks and you wait until week 15 to come to me trying to ask for some extra credit, nah, can't do nothing for you, homie. I tell them, take this class again, but don't take me. Take somebody else. If you don't care, I'm not about to do that again. Yeah, I ain't about to. If you don't care, I ain't about to do it again. But I definitely put my heart out for my student, and this is where it's all coming from, because I teach them a lot of self-advocacy. I teach them a lot of life principles, but it's coming from a perspective of me being me. Like I tell my students, I didn't come from the Huxtable family. I don't got a lawyer mother and a doctor father. We some regular people here, right? I got into school. It took me 7 years to get a 4-year degree. I wasn't no athlete. I wasn't no top level student. And yet here I am sitting in the classroom teaching y'all. So I had to have learned something. Because they're not letting you be mediocre in grad school. That's just not going to happen. So what is it that I learned that really helped me overachieve? And then the other part is the same type of t-shirts and hats, and I wear Jordans and stuff. I wear that in the classroom. Not because I'm trying to show them anything. It's because this is me.
Right. I'm not trying to change for you. Absolutely.
I tell them, I say, look, man, this is the world where you can be intelligent and be fly. If you want to wear Gucci belts and Balenciagas, you can do that. But just make sure them joints is in the library sometimes. Spend a couple hours in the library, because that's what's really going to make you succeed. I have helped. I'm sorry to get off on this tangent, but basically, in the year's time, the course for the students, the course for the faculty, and then the course for Black men. It's going to be specifically, I don't care if anybody thinks that's racist, whatever. We have issues that supremely focus on ourselves, and we need to make sure that when we in the college environment, we know how to be the best versions of ourselves, whether that's at a Black college, whether it's at a community college, whether it's even if you had a trade school or if you had a PWI, it doesn't matter. I'm creating a course specifically for the Black men who are in college so that they can really excel and be great at whatever it is you choose to do. But just know that whatever you put your name on, you want to make sure it is in conjunction with excellence. And that's the whole premise of that. So those are the 3 things I'm chiefly focusing on. Okay. And I'll probably write some more books sometime.
All right. And I actually want to add on to those principles. Being a teacher and all, what is, for these courses that you will be having, what type of student are you looking for? Are you just looking for somebody who's ready to start college? Are you looking for that individual who's maybe struggling and looking for the next steps? What's going to be your ideal student that does sign up and does register and pay for through you, I should say?
I think the ideal student is always going to be somebody who finds me relatable. I try to be as relatable as I can. There's some people who I might rub the wrong way. I'm not from, Harvards and the Yales and none of that. So some people might be like, I don't want to talk to this guy. Cool, fine. But the students that I've met and impacted and stuff, they've understood that I try to be very, very down to earth about my stuff. I got the, I got the degree. They're sitting on my wall somewhere, and I shoot trash off of them. I don't care, but I don't need to always have to use the highest words in the vocabulary to, So I'm not trying to impress people with that. My whole thing is I can impress you more if I can impress you with something, give you something that you can use way after you meet. Oh man, I remember this bald-headed professor from about 4 years ago taught me how to do this. If that's all you remember from me, I'd rather you remember what I gave you versus who I was. See what I'm saying? And that's how I am with my professor. I can name a couple of professors who did some great things and helped me out along the way. So, but those people out there who are going to college, maybe you have an older relative who went to school, whatever, and we gotta understand it's different personalities. The summa cum magnum laudes and all of that, they probably don't need my help, and it might. I mean, I'm not saying if you want to learn, I promise you, it ain't nothing you're gonna get out of a book. But I'm really trying to help the people who aren't, made for college. We all got there. If you got to college, you got there, but that doesn't mean you have the exact skills to really be successful in college. Now, also in my classes, I had taught some students who, it's like a dual program where they're taking AP courses in high school and they're also taking college courses. And so I used to talk to them at the end of the semester, get a little feedback on how they felt my class was in comparison to the high school system they were in. But one thing that I'll give out here is that when they did research in high school, it's from the book that was given to them. So there is there's an implicit bias on the research that you can provide because you're only getting it from one book.
Yeah, it's like only using one.
College,
to find what you're looking for.
Right. It's like, okay, guys, who's the best rapper in the world? We only gonna give you Jay-Z's album though. Well, I don't have much of a choice. So college isn't supposed to be like that. I'm going to say supposed to. That's the caveat. Because there are a lot of professors, like I said, they want it their way. Professors who wrote their book. So they want you to buy their book. I mean, I've had them professors. I'm not that professor, but I've had them where they don't want you to deviate off of that. But the reality is college is supposed to be a place where if you stay the position and you can back that position up with academic research, your position becomes valid or verifiable at least. And that's what I want to teach my teaching the students is the ability to have, have a position and then back it up and be able to be, stand fast on that, man, because a lot of people, they get wishy-washy, and it's not just school, but in life. A lot of people don't have a solid basis of operation. And when I say basis of operation, I'm thinking like their life philosophies and things of that nature. So they don't have a solid one, so they're kind of guided by whatever they feel is a good, or what other people are telling them what to do, whatever the case. But when you have a really solid background or a solid ideology about something, you say, okay, this is what I believe about a situation, and then here goes other scholars and other researchers who made this point that believed that, and made that point that believed that. So the idea of finding the information so that you can substantiate your position is really what I want to get after in that type of research environment. And then being able to construct that so that you can write about it eloquently, you can speak on it well. These are the things that make you a master student. And these are abilities that will never not be useful. You see what I'm saying? They'll never not be useful. Right. And that's what I want to teach them as far as just how to be great in college, but also in life, you'll have that same thing. So you don't have to worry about listening to whoever said what on YouTube. You can do your own, I teach media literacy. So the whole idea of that class is filtering out unnecessary information versus the necessary information. How else could I not, how could I throw that away for something like this? Because it's such especially now in today's time, it's such an important thing that we can't just get on the news and hear whatever we hear and just take it for
oh my gosh. Especially not now. Especially not now. I can't tell you how many times where I've had to not so much fight with my colleagues, but disagree with them and let them know. I think it was even before the whole COVID mess, when they were saying like certain states were like banning or disarming or closing up. And I'm like, listen, at this time, I'm like, did you Google it? Like, did you honestly Google it and found actual facts? And it's like, no, 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 it has to be true. I saw it on Twitter, or I saw it on Instagram. And it's like, if you're not Googling these sources, and even when it is coming from CNN or any other location that is supposed to be a viable source, people actually need to step in and do the research. You know, you have so many people joke around on social media about Facebook, like, hey, when's that second stimulus check come? It's like, well, did you actually do the research? Or as a business, did you actually take the time to look at a PPP loan? You know, folks were coming at Kanye West because he was able to get 2 to 5 million. It's like, oh, that's because he supported Trump. No, he found a loophole about a $5 million loan that he doesn't need to pay right away, that he could pay back over the course of 30 years instead of using his own money to make sure his workers got paid. So if you actually took that
Right.
step, if you actually did what you were supposed to do and research, or by all means get in contact with my man, Professor Kev, and understand the difference between the two, then you would actually realize that. And I think that's what, you know, the society is missing. And I value you so much for doing that. I wish I could go back in time, you know, to, I'll just say prior to Obama years, when I was in college, you know, getting that, because although I felt prepared, you know, I felt ready, I think the advancement of where folks can go, especially the Black and brown community, had they given the right tools. Because if you're just giving these kids, you know, an incense holder to hammer in a nail, they're going to look stupid in front of everybody.
Right.
But that's what they're like, well, hey, this is what I got. This is what I was told to use. Find something that's going to give it enough force, rather than just saying like, hey, here's the hammer. Here's the right tool. And you're actually getting the job done. So with that, I appreciate that. Now, Professor Kev, before we continue on with the interview, where can folks catch you again online and social media?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. These are both my Instagram pages. My personal page is Ayo Deuce, EHYODEUCE. And then my the courses page that I created is called Easy Teachy. EAS. Well, you wrote it up in the title. So Easy Teachy, and so you can just follow them. They open platform. I actually have the intellectual podcast, but that's linked to on my personal page, so you could just check that out too. But yeah, that's how you can catch me right now. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, and I'm definitely not making goofy dances on TikTok and none of that. So.
Are you trying to shimmy, brother? If Shaq could shimmy, we all, I think he actually was the pioneer for grown men being able to shimmy. So if he can shimmy, brother, you gotta
do it with the Jabberwockies.
Yep, you gotta just give it a little shoulders and you be good, brother. I ain't gotta say you gotta do a whole lot, but just a couple of shoulder rubs and you be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that to the young professionals.
I got you, brother. I got you. Now, Professor, before I let you go, I always ask everybody that's on the show, especially when they have something brand new, because we have entrepreneurs, business owners, and teachers that come on the show. What advice would you give to somebody who's looking to get the business started, or simply just struggling in trying to get to that next step for their business?
Okay, so can I give you a long answer or just a short, quick one?
You could give me an 11-minute answer.
I hope to do less. I'll do less. So a book that I wrote, which you can get on Amazon, is called Man the F Up. And this book is about guiding principles and philosophies about all ranges of things, including being successful, starting businesses, financial literacy, and things of that nature. The big thing that I tell people if they're stuck, so you asked me two different things. So if you're stuck in a business or you're stuck in a rut, doing one thing each day can get you out of that rut. So staying productive, staying active. It may hurt, but if you start doing something, you're going to go a lot further doing something than doing nothing. And then I told my students, the definition of luck is success meeting opportunity. I'm sorry, preparation meeting opportunity. So if you are preparing, then the opportunity comes and you meet, and that's how you get lucky. But if you ain't doing anything to prepare, you'll never get prepared for that opportunity, and then so you won't get that luck. Like they say, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Secondly, for those who are interested in starting a business, I have one thing to say, man, just start, man. That you got to put something out there. You got to put something out there. When you put something out there and it might be off a little bit or wrong, that's better than not putting anything out. And I'm saying this as a borderline perfectionist. I think that's part of my personality is I be wanting things done right so much that sometimes I can procrastinate on actually putting something out there. But you got to get past that and just say, look, man, I put something out. The reality is the people who like you are going to like you no matter what. The people who don't, they not going to like you no matter what. You're not going to influence somebody to buy a Ford if they do not want to buy a Ford. You can influence somebody to buy a Ford if they was waking up trying to get a Ford in the first place. Yeah. So the reality is, there's going to be some people who you're not going to want to, whatever. You just got to put it out for the people who want it because they're going to find it. They're going to find it. So you just got to start, get it out there. The beauty of life today is I got Instagram and social media, man. I couldn't take pictures of my stuff and throw it out there 10, 15 years ago. Now I can take pictures. I helped one young brother in my class start doing hair, cutting hair in the dorm rooms. I was like, man, I said, this is what you do. I said, take a weekend, tell all your buddies come through, get the free haircut. In exchange for the free haircut, they gotta let you take a bunch of pictures of it. I said, that's how you get a whole collage set up. So I said, you put on them pictures out there. You say, look, man, I'm here in the so-and-so dorms, man. Let's get it cracking. That's how you get to the money. I couldn't do that 15 years ago when I was in undergrad. I couldn't, we didn't have that ability to do that. Maybe Facebook, but that was in its infancy. So now with this social media, you can start businesses anywhere, man. I got a buddy of mine in LA. He got hurt with the COVID thing shutting down the places that he worked at. He's a chef. He been cooking. I told him, I said, dude, put the stuff on Instagram, man. I said, you got a personality, you're very sociable. I said, just take videos of you cooking your stuff and putting your stuff out there. And now this dude ain't never not busy. He's like, I don't think I'm going back to no restaurant if it even opens back up.
Like, I forgot I had the job, technically.
Right. And that's the thing, man. Sometimes we just got to believe in ourselves just enough to say we can do something. And that's what I had to, I got to practice what I preach. So that's where I'm at, man. I believed in myself to write a book. I'm probably going to write about 3 or 4 more. I believed in myself to start a couple different businesses since this COVID thing happened. I'm going to be honest, man. This is the time to create the opportunities, man. There's so much stuff out there. And I try to tell people who feel a little bad, you may have not been working your job or lost your job, but sometimes there's some blessings in that, man. There's some blessings in that somewhere. So I try to help people look in the positive side and looking at what they can do now to better themselves in the future. And I think that's the 2 of the biggest things for the people in the business, man. Just keep doing something. Consistent action, man. Consistent action. That's how you lose weight in the gym. I mean, that's how you gain muscles in the gym. You can't just pick up a dumbbell once and say, I'm about to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You got to keep going at it.
I'm good.
Yeah, man. You got to keep going at it. So that's consistent action. And then you just really got to start, man, and just put it out there. And that's the beauty of this Instagram, social media. You can interact with a lot of people straight from your own house, man. So it's a beautiful thing. Just do it.
And that honestly brings to the conclusion. So, you pretty much hit the nail on the coffin with that. And, for the folks at home, I hope you greatly appreciate this interview that I have with my man, Professor Kev. Professor, I greatly appreciate having you on the show, man.
No, I appreciate you. Like I said, I appreciate you a lot. Let me operate on your platform to get this information out. I really hope to, really, and just like what you're doing, changing lives, helping people get better, having a great life, man. That's really what it's about out here. And I want to just do my part and contribute in the way I know how.
Let's do this together then, man. Let's do this together.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
so with that, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check me out Monday through Friday on Facebook Live at 7 a.m. Or if you just happen to not get up that early, be sure to check out the replay on YouTube with interviews great such as these. So, Professor Gibb, salute you, man, and thank you so much again for being on the show, brother.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Fleslet on the beat.